There is a question that has stalked ambitious minds across history. What is the fastest path to financial freedom? Not the most moral, not the safest, the fastest. Most will never uncover it, not because it is complex, but because they pursue illusions disguised as opportunity. They spend entire lifetimes working harder, saving carefully, and labeling restraint as wisdom. Yet Machiavelli warned that men are ruined when they chase what they want instead of what gives them advantage. The modern world is crowded with those ruins, lives spent obeying the belief that patience and virtue alone will purchase liberation. The wealthy have always known better. For centuries, the real path to freedom has been visible yet deliberately ignored, buried beneath slogans designed to keep the masses compliant. Work hard, stay humble, wait your turn. Those phrases were not written to empower. They were written to pacify. Empires were built on the backs of those who believe them. Because the moment you understand how the system truly functions, you stop participating in it and start constructing something of your own, and that is dangerous. That is why the knowledge of freedom was once reserved for princes, not peasants. In Florence, centuries ago, Machiavelli observed something most never notice. Merchants and bankers wielded more power than armies. They could purchase silence, loyalty, even war. Gold was never the objective. It was the tool. The real prize was control. He who controls resources controls men. He who controls men controls the future. Financial freedom, in its purest form, is not the absence of labor. It is dominance over leverage, the ability to command without exertion, to move others without being moved yourself. The pattern has not changed, only the costumes. The modern Medici wear hoodies instead of crowns. They build platforms instead of palaces. Their reach spans continents instead of city-states. Some control attention and technology. Some control logistics and consumption. Some control capital itself. None of them sell time. They sell systems. They understand what most never will. Money flows toward those who orchestrate, not those who comply. The tragedy is that most people remain trapped in medieval belief that effort equals wealth. If that were true, the hardest laborers would be the richest men alive. But effort without leverage is not virtue. It is servitude. A man who works endlessly but owns nothing is not free. He is simply exchanging freedom for survival. Machiavelli would have named this condition a citizen's slavery, maintained by the illusion of security. Financial freedom does not reward virtue, it rewards power. The one who controls outcomes dictates compensation. The one who merely contributes must ask permission. This is the unforgiving equation of wealth, the one no one wants to state openly. Control generates money, not kindness, not obedience. And the fastest route to financial freedom is not endless labor, but the seizure of control over what others depend on. That control begins in perception.er, because perception governs behavior.br, and behavior produces wealth. The man who appears powerful attracts allies, capital, and followers.br. The man who appears uncertain repels them. This is why kings wore crowns. They were never ornaments.br, they were signals. Machiavelli warned that men judge more by the eye than by the hand.er. That law still governs the modern world. Financial systems are not driven by fairness.br, they are driven by belief.br, and those who engineer belief manufacture fortune. The average person believes safety equals success.br, work for decades, retire modestly, disappear quietly.br, they call it stability. Machiavelli would have called it captivity.safety, is a privilege for those already in power. For everyone else, it is a cage disguised as a paycheck. The tragedy is not only that it steals your time, it erodes your courage. Each paycheck purchased with fear conditions obedience, and obedience, no matter how comfortable, is poverty wearing a respectable mask. Those who escape this illusion move differently. They do not trade effort. They trade direction. They do not accumulate hours. They construct systems. .br they do not follow rules. .br they author them. The path to financial freedom begins the moment you stop selling time bar and start scaling influence. When you stop functioning inside the machine bar and begin owning it. Machiavelli wrote that a wise ruler builds on foundations that cannot be shaken. In the modern world, those foundations are systems, ownership, and attention. These are the fortress walls of contemporary wealth. So ask yourself this: in the empire of your life, are you the architect or the laborer? Because financial freedom does not ask for permission. It belongs to those willing to think like rulers in a world trained to behave like subjects. Those who stop asking, how can I earn more? And start asking, what can I control? Here lies the first great secret Machiavelli buried, beneath centuries of distraction. Before you can possess wealth, you must command perception, because whoever commands attention commands fortune. The architecture of power and leverage. Control begins invisibly. The wealthy do not announce it, they design it. Machiavelli observed that the wise man does immediately what the fool delays until necessity forces him. This single principle separates those who build freedom from those who pursue it endlessly. While most wait for perfect conditions, the powerful construct systems that multiply their reach even while they sleep. They understand a fundamental truth: effort without leverage exhausts, but effort with leverage compounds into empire. Across every century, freedom has belonged to those who mastered leverage. The prince does not fight his own wars, he commands generals. The merchant does not carry every shipment, he controls the outs.br. And the modern elite do not work harder than you. They own the mechanisms that make your work profitable. They own the infrastructure. .br, the distribution. .br, the algorithms. .br, the narrative. Every hour you scroll or clock in feeds a system someone else engineered. The wealthy have always understood this. Real power does not come from participation. .br, it comes from orchestration. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must become both the lion and the fox. .br, force and cunning. .br, leverage is the fusion of the two. Strength deployed through subtlety. .br, you act once, BR, and the effect echoes thousands of times. That is the logic of modern empires. .br, automation. .br, delegation. .br, replication. A single creation multiplied endlessly through channels you no longer need to touch. This is how one man earns in a day what others exhaust themselves for in a year. Not because he worked harder, but because he worked structurally. Financial freedom begins when you think like an engineer of influence. .br. The Medici did not sell their time. They built the banking systems that financed kings. Today, those same principles live on in venture capital, media platforms, and intellectual property. Freedom is constructed when what you create continues producing value long after your hands have left it. A man who builds leverage stops trading his body and starts monetizing his mind. Machiavelli would have recognized modern leverage as the evolution of his doctrine of arms and laws. He taught that every ruler UIs foundations. In our age, those foundations are capital and systems. But in a world ruled by speed and attention, two more have emerged: people and perception. Together, these four multipliers, capital, people, knowledge, and attention, form the invisible empire of financial freedom. Capital comes first. The poor avoid it. The wealthy command it. Most people fear debt. The elite use it as propulsion. They do not ask, can I afford this? They ask, whose resources can I control? From Renaissance bankers financing monarchs to modern founders using investor capital to dominate industries, the pattern has never changed. Borrowed capital becomes conquered territory when deployed with precision. Used strategically, debt is not a shackle, it is a weapon that multiplies reach. The second multiplier is people. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler is only as strong as those who serve him. Delegation is not weakness, it is multiplication. You may build slowly alone or exponentially with others. Every skilled individual you align, every mind that adopts your vision, becomes an extension of your will. The ruler does not polish his own armor, he commands armies. Likewise, the modern leader does not micromanage, he mobilizes. Elon Musk does not write every line of code. He engineers vision. Jeff Bezos did not pack boxes. He designed a logistical machine powered by millions, operating inside a single system. Freedom is never solitary. It scales through people who carry your struck. Cheer forward. The third multiplier is knowledge, not the passive kind that fills notebooks, but asymmetric insight, the kind others fail to notice. Machiavelli called this virtue, the clarity to recognize opportunity where others see disorder. The world accelerates past those who hesitate. The wealthy do not wait for certainty. They act on patterns before they are obvious. By the time the masses hear about a trend, the elite have already extracted value from it. True freedom does not come from knowing everything. It comes from knowing earlier and acting without hesitation. The fourth and most underestimated multiplier is attention. In the Renaissance, reputation determined life or death. Today, it determines deal flow, credibility, and capital. If people recognize your name, you possess leverage. If they trust it, you possess velocity. Machiavelli observed that men judge more by the eye than by the hand. This principle governs the modern world more than ever. Visibility is modern royalty. Influencers, investors, founders, they rule through perception. A single display of confidence can unlock doors that years of effort never could. Because attention is currency, and those who command it can convert it into anything. Sales, loyalty, partnerships, power. When you understand these four levers, you stop asking, how can I work harder, and begin asking, what can I build that works for me? That is the moment you evolve, from laborer to strategist, from participant to architect. And when you behave like an architect long enough, the world begins to recognize you as one. But magnetism has a cost. As you rise, the air thins. You attract resistance, envy, sabotage, betrayal. Machiavelli warned that any ruler who ascends will be hated by those who prospered under the old order. That hatred is not failure, it is evidence of relevance, the psychology of resistance and speed. Every ascent provokes resistance. This is a law as old as power itself. Machiavelli warned that a newly risen ruler creates as many enemies as beneficiaries because every step toward freedom exposes the complacency of others. The moment you accelerate, you force the world to confront its stagnation, and the stagnant resent exposure. Opposition is not a curse, it is confirmation that your trajectory threatens the existing order. History repeats this pattern relentlessly. When innovators move too quickly, they are branded reckless. When Elon Musk disrupted industries, he was mocked as delusional, until his name became currency. When Bezos built Amazon, they claimed retail was immovable, until competitors bowed. When Renaissance princes seized power, they were called tyrants, until their statues filled Europe's squares. In every age, those who refuse permission are villains first, and rulers later. The cautious man waits for certainty. The Machiavellian acts before the fog lifts. This is the paradox of freedom. The world rewards those who move before it feels comfortable. Speed is the modern sword of conquest. Perfection is its scabbard, beautiful but useless in battle. The cautious demand guarantees, the free understand that momentum creates them. In a world where markets, technology, and attention shift by the minute, hesitation is the most expensive debt of all. Machiavelli wrote that fortune is a woman and must be seized boldly. This was not romance, it was timing. Opportunity does not wait to be courted, it submits to those who move first. In finance, this truth is everywhere. The first investor captures the majority of upside. The first founder defines the rules. The first voice to seize attention controls the narrative. The world rewards timing, not intention. And yet fear still governs most men. Fear of loss, fear of judgment, fear of failure, so they cling to safety, as if safety has ever built an empire. Machiavelli understood that fear is not something to escape, it is something to harness. He who controls fear, he wrote, controls those who fear. The bold convert fear into fuel. They move precisely when others freeze. Every decisive act is an act of defiance against hesitation, and each bold decision compounds, like interest, into unstoppable momentum. This is why speed compounds faster than capital. Every decisive move multiplies opportunity. A call made today becomes 5 introductions tomorrow. A project launched this month builds credibility for years. You strike while others pause and their hesitate. On becomes your fortress. The man who acts first does not merely capture opportunity, he defines it. This is how silent fortunes are built. Invisible preparation, sudden execution, unsettling results. History confirms it across centuries. The Medici mastered timing by financing wars before kings even realized they would need gold. The Rothschilds built a dynasty on speed of information. They knew the outcome of Waterloo hours before anyone else and turned that asymmetry into dominion. Modern traders, founders, and investors do the same. They move before signals become public. They act on insight, while others are still negotiating courage. That is not luck. It is Machiavellian foresight in motion. Once momentum forms, it becomes gravity. Machiavelli observed that men rush to follow those who appear victorious. People follow motion, not perfection. When someone advances with conviction, others want to attach themselves to that trajectory. Investors commit. Customers follow. Allies emerge. The appearance of speed creates its own ecosystem of opportunity. This is why those who move fast appear lucky. Their luck is simply speed, viewed from a distance. But here is the paradox. Every acceleration awakens resistance. As you rise, you will encounter betrayal, envy, sabotage. The weak will whisper that you have changed. When the truth is simpler, you stopped asking permission. Expect this. It is the tax of momentum. He who wishes to be obeyed must first know how to command. Machiavelli reminded us that leadership is never granted. It is seized and proven under pressure. So how do you protect your ascent? You master timing and psychology. You do not explain yourself to those still crawling. You do not slow your pace to soothe the insecure. You move through resistance, like a blade through fog, silent, sharp, inevitable. The moment you begin defending your speed, you lose it. The rich do not argue, they act. The powerful do not justify, they execute. And here lies the deeper truth. Once momentum is mastered, you stop chasing opportunity, you become it. The world begins to orbit your movement. Capital seeks you, people pitch you, attention bends toward you, because motion creates credibility. You evolve from seeker to source, from participant to force, but freedom does not end with momentum. Because Machiavelli's greatest lesson was not only how to rise, but how to remain untouchable. The highest form of power is not action, it is architecture, and those who master it do not merely play the game, they rewrite it, from man to movement, the Machiavellian endgame. Once you understand the mechanics of speed, you arrive at the highest stage of freedom, strategic architecture. Machiavelli wrote that it is not titles that honor men, but men who honor titles. The truly free man no longer seeks validation through wealth. He converts wealth into command. His goal is no longer comfort, it is sovereignty. He moves beyond income into influence, beyond survival into systemic control. Because financial freedom is not about having enough, it is about possessing power that regenerates itself. History repeats this pattern relentlessly. The Rockefellers did not merely sell oil. They built networks that controlled its flow. The Rothschilds did not simply lend money. They engineered the architecture of finance. Bezos did not just sell books. He constructed the logistical bloodstream of global commerce. Musk did not merely build cars. He created ecosystems of energy, data, and narrative. Each followed the same Machiavellian law: control the system and outcomes obey. They did not rise by chasing profit. They rose by controlling the stage on which profit is performed. Machiavelli would have called this the evolution from virtue to statecraft. Freedom becomes real when your influence shapes the environment others must operate within. When you own the infrastructure, the gate, or the attention, you become the custodian of fortune itself. That is the Machiavellian endgame, not competing for opportunity, but creating conditions where opportunity cannot exist without you. The powerful do not chase markets. They build platforms through which markets must pass. This is why the richest are not merely wealthy. They are necessary. Their systems are woven so deeply into daily life that society bends around their design. And that is the essence of Machiavellian financial freedom: to become indispensable, not replaceable. When others rely on your structure, your stability, your leadership, your freedom compounds without limit. At that stage, wealth is no longer earned. It is engineered through dependence. But every empire, from Florence to Wall Street, carries the same warning: the moment you slow down to seek approval, you fall. Machiavelli said it is better to act and repent than not to act and regret. The wealthy do not pause for comfort. They build through chaos. Resistance, envy, and criticism are the unavoidable taxes of dominance. The lion does not apologize for its roar. The instant you feel the world pushing back, you have begun to rule. When they attack your ambition, remember this: their noise is evidence of your movement. The more you disturb mediocrity, the louder it protests. Those still imprisoned by hesitation will label you reckless, arrogant, dangerous. Smile. Danger is the word the powerless use to describe anyone moving faster than their fear. As you scale, the laws of wealth change. You no longer compete for attention. You govern it. You no longer chase returns. You define them. You no longer wait for the wave. You engineer the tide. This is why the elite do not fear losing money. They control the ecosystem that produces it. The modern Machiavellian prince is not a monarch on a throne. He is the architect of the network itself. His income flows from systems, not schedules. His influence travels faster than his presence. His decisions ripple across markets before competitors realize he has moved. Financial freedom at its highest level is not passive income, it is active dominance. You build systems that move capital, content, and consciousness. While you sleep, you convert visibility into gravity, and gravity into wealth. This is why the rich can rebuild from nothing. Their real fortress is not assets, it is influence. Machiavelli would have said that he who builds on the favor of fortune builds on sand, but he who builds on his own virtue builds on stone. Your virtue is your leverage, discipline, intelligence, the boldness to strike while others hesitate. So what is the final step? There is none. Freedom is not a destination, it is a force sustained through motion. Once you master leverage, once you conquer fear, once you act faster than the doubt of the crowd, you stop being a man chasing wealth and become a movement that generates it. You become the storm others attempt to forecast, a name that turns into a law of motion. Movements do not ask permission, they act, they disrupt, they define their era. And now the question returns to you. Are you willing to move so decisively that your former self would not recognize the man you become? Are you willing to take so much control that hesitation collapses in your presence? Because fortune does not belong to the careful or the kind. It belongs to those who see it and move. Machiavelli taught that fortune favors the bold, but he implied something deeper. Freedom itself belongs only to those who seize it